All right, thank you so much, Charles, and thank you again to everybody for being here. I was just looking through the list of attendees, and as Dr. Hart said, it's pretty amazing. Folks from all over the world, and even see some Mongolian folks here. So, Indir Sindich Bayatla, and I'm Will. I am a professor of archaeology here at the University of Colorado, and my interest and experience is mostly focused on understanding horses and people in Mongolia and the steppes of Eurasia. And this course is going to be kind of fun. You'll see that it's not just myself, but actually our newly crowned resident director of the American Center for Mongolian Studies, Dr. Hart. Isaac and I have been working together for around 6 years conducting archaeological field research in Mongolia. And it's not 100% confirmed, but I think it's highly likely that most of our journey will be joined by one of the world experts, Mongolian archaeologist, who I've been working with for 12 years, Dr. Bayer Sachen. And so this is a special group of folks, 3 relatively elusive archaeologists on a pretty short program here of about 7-8 days to go through, kind of situate folks in an understanding of Mongolia's really unique and important horse culture, and kind of tour through the archaeology and the history of how that relationship came to be and the ways that it impacted the ancient world. So actually, if I can, I'm going to try to share my screen because I tweaked the slides a little bit. Is that permissible, Charles or Isaac? Let me try.
Yeah, if you have the ability, if it will let you do that. Oh.
All right. So I did it. I tried. Can you all see this okay?
Yep.
All right. So you can see that I've fiddled with the title and some of the images here a bit, but basically, for anyone who's spent time in Mongolia, you know that we have the world's most vibrant, or at least one of the most vibrant modern horse cultures. I mean, evidence for it is all around you, right? In daily life today. But this field school is really going to explore how that came to be and the ways that it impacted the rest of the world. And we're going to start by visiting some of the most incredible archaeological sites related to early horse domestication and ancient horse cultures in the world. And so the field school is going to start off with a little bit of kind of framing. We're going to kind of show you some of the museums and get some kind of base introductions, but then we're going to get out into the field and we're going to tour through the earliest chapters of Mongolia's relationship with domestic horses, visiting sites, some of the largest and most impressive sites of the Bronze Age. So these are sites that are more than 3,000 years old. And while they're sort of known and titled for their beautiful, carved stone and burial mounds, in fact, what we're going there to understand are the horses that accompanied them, right? And these are, places where we see, archaeological burials in the running from a few to a few hundred or even a few thousand horses, individual horses that might have been sort of brought to these sites at a single moment. And so this is going to be a pretty special experience. And Dr. Bayer Sachen in particular, not only is he one of the world experts on these sort of second millennium earliest horse cultures, but he's actually from the area that these most impressive sites are located. So that's going to be a special treat. If you read the news this week, you might have seen the growing understanding that Mongolia played an incredible role in the rest of the world's horse story. So some of the equipment that we use today here in Colorado, for example, looks like may have been innovated actually for the very first time in the steppes of Mongolia, 1600 years ago or more. So we're going to talk about and explore some of that history. We're also going to visit, sort of the central places of the ancient world in the heart of Mongolia's steppe. So this here is a contemporary monastery built at the site of the ancient capital of the Mongol Empire. And so we're going to visit this capital city of Harhorum, and we're going to explore kind of on the ground what the greatness of the Mongol Empire and the reach in which its sort of global connectivity sort of brought to the steppes. In the process, though, we're also going to learn about aspects of that human-horse relationship that don't always get in the splashy headlines, right? Things like the postal relay service, or the role of horses in transport, in military situations, and as a livestock animal, right? So we're going to try to trace this story from the earliest threads through the modern era. And in fact, one of the coolest things we're going to do, don't expect any ancient ruins. We're actually going to visit the site of a 20th century, probably what might have been the world's last functioning kind of horse-based postal relay or pony express type system, which ran through Mongolia in some areas well into the middle of the 20th century. And so we're going to visit a friend of mine whose family used to run one of these in Huvskul province in northern Mongolia. And we're going to kind of conclude the project by really talking about those ways that horse technology quite recently ran through every aspect of the daily life, and the ways that the last sort of 100 years or so have changed and continue to shift in contemporary Mongolia. So this is not going to be a bunch of, we are nerds, but we're not going to be standing up at the front of the classroom with pen and paper asking you to memorize. Instead, we're going to really try to get you time out in the field with some of the most ancient and important archaeological sites in Mongolia, and really in all of Eurasia related to horses. We're going to try to understand the ways that relationships with horses changed across the ancient world in terms of technology, social roles, and then we're going to have a conversation about how that those roles are changing today. So hopefully by the end, you'll walk out of it feeling like you really understand the threads of the past that are alive in horse culture in Mongolia today. And if you're like me and coming from a background of kind of horse culture of your own here, in the US or wherever you're from, you might come away from the program understanding the threads that even link you and your experience back to these, earliest chapters of the story in the steppes. So I think that's the basic overview of what we're going to do. Like I said, if you don't come to hear me ramble, come to hear Dr. Hart and Dr. Bayer-Saihan talk, folks that really understand important aspects of culture, of environment, and the incredible interplay between these two things. Okay.